I have been teaching confirmation to teenagers for many years, and I always teach them Lectio Divina, which they take to very well. And once they understand the procedure and the word or the phrase that comes out from scripture, that format, the sharings that come out of those groups from these kids who have such a maelstrom of emotions and all sorts of mixed thoughts about relationships and all sorts of things, the sharings that come out are so beautiful and so amazing, especially the discipline of not commenting, not trying to console, just allowing that space where that teenager can really open up and feel free to open up. And then I tried centering prayer. I failed dismally. So we often do like that I am meditation. I think on Thursday, we do a guided meditation for say 5 minutes, leave them in that quiet space for a few minutes, maybe have some quiet music in the background, and then bring them out of that, which they also enjoy very much. But pure centering prayer with teenagers, I failed. But Lectio Divina, wonderful. So anybody who's teaching Sunday school or confirmation groups for teenagers, try Lectio Divina. It is such a beautiful tool, and especially we would have a 2-day retreat in preparation for confirmation, and I'd get all my contemplative friends and we'd break up. We might be 50 teenagers, break up into groups with a facilitator in each group leading the Lectio Divina process. And it's like so heartwarming to engage with young people at that level. So thank you very much.
I was reading an article that Father Keating wrote, and he said that, in a way they created a how-to method because those are the way of the times. And so the gift of centering prayer is the method, that it doesn't change. Although Keith and I have talked a bit about whether or not that method does require some adaptation, if you will. As practitioners of the traditional method, we have reservations about that for maybe obvious reasons. Keith mentioned a bit that we paid a deal of attention to the time we offer the practice. I'm used to centering prayer groups being at noon or maybe even 5 p.m. That doesn't particularly work for the 40s and unders. Our lives don't stop. The day-to-day doesn't stop until about 7:30, maybe 8. So we've been intentional about offering later groups, and conscious of the fact that we also, our generation is much more overwhelmed by messaging, constant messaging, social media, and the dings from our phones. And I think it's affecting us all, but the reality of addiction to social media is really prevalent in the younger generation. And so we have to be conscious of that as well.
I was introduced to Christian meditation through Dom John Main. I'm from Canada and eventually came to centering prayer later. But I was thinking that a good place for working with youth would be at the Newman Centers or at the universities in some way. And I would really encourage people to do it. That's where I started to do Buddhist meditation, was at university. And I thought, this is crazy. This is a whole cultural thing that doesn't make sense to me, that I had an awakening that there's a good Christian practice I can go to. So I left the Eastern meditation to do the Christian meditation, and then got to centering prayer, where I'm happy to be centered. So anyways, I would just think that an outreach at the universities would be a really good place to be. And I would hope that there was something going on there. And my second comment was that in our group in Contemplative Prayer Niagara, our leader, Brenda, is starting to work with the high school chaplain, and she has a group. And unfortunately, because of COVID couldn't get to go into the high school, but I heard the story. I understand it failed for this gentleman, but we're hoping that it's not going to fail. And I'm thinking that if you do work with a chaplain and who thinks it might happen, I don't see any problem in introducing it to the students at high school. So those are my two comments about youth.